Hello there, it's Baldy Chris again, and I'm getting in the hot seat for another episode of The Witness Beam by Beam. Ready? It's the fifth one is hiding at the back of the picture. It's coming up from the back of the mount, and that is going to be the swamp area, which is a relatively tricky area from recollection. So it's distinctly possible I'll get stuck, and I might well need some Twitch viewers, so I haven't got any just yet. So perhaps not super surprising. And I hope to avoid it, but potentially Google as well if we absolutely have to, but I'm rather hoping not. So this puzzle is almost impossible to fail, really. Either way round would have worked, but here's where we'll start to see the significance of the dots. I'll take the first one slowly, well, not slowly, but there's a failed result. There is another failed result, leaving only one option for the correct result. And hopefully it's becoming apparent why certain results are passing and certain results are failing. And the game is telling us by flashing red images that we've got something wrong. So the dot is wrong, or the little square is wrong, and now it's right. So this looks the same as the previous puzzle, but it's wrong. And now it's right. So I'm going to step back from those panels so you can see all three of them at once. Just if you haven't twigged to it yet, you may struggle with this area. But to be explicit about it, where you've got one square, it needs to be bound by the line you draw into an area of one square of the overall grid. So that's the one on the right and the one in the middle both have single squares, and the lines I've drawn divide off single squares, whereas the third one on the left has got two squares, and the area I've drawn has bound off two squares. So it's a fairly simple concept, but it can get very complicated indeed. That one's not terribly complicated, just recreating the shape. We've got a couple of broken lines on the grid which make life potentially tricky. Can't complete the square that way round. Can't go across, missed it anyway, can't go across there to complete it. So where can we go? Actually struggling to see this one. Oh no, I'm not. Right. It will go in the bottom left, but I've just got to draw it in a different order. So onto what is very definitely a Tetris piece there. Quite easy to draw the shape, but can I actually get out? Yeah, it looks like it. That should be easy enough. Bit of a wiggly route, alright, but there we are. So the shape has been bound by the line I've drawn. I've had to go crazy with the other bits of line that I've drawn to actually get to the exit, but the shape was already bound off against the edge of the grid, so that one's completed. Hello viewer, have you played The Witness before? And how did you get on with these rather irritating puzzles? Alright, so there's now a choice coming up here, or there would be if there weren't broken lines. We could either try and bind those two dots together in an area of two squares of the grid, but the broken lines on the grid stop us from doing that. Two viewers now, hello both of you. So because of the broken lines, I've had to physically make those two squares be separated from each other. So two single squares bound by the line I've drawn. This time round, I can't separate the two squares, and the two little squares are now bound into an area size two squares that I've drawn by my line. So you can combine shapes, and this is where it starts getting very tricky, or will do later. It's still relatively simple. This is just the tutorial phase. So they've drawn a 2x2 square, which is fulfilled by the pieces within. And this one will be much the same again. So the two shapes are bound by the same line altogether. Got a shape that comprises 6 squares, which is the two shapes I needed to include. I think I can do the same solution again on this one, even though the two squares have moved. They're still bound by the same line. And there's a couple of solutions I could do here actually. I think again that same shape would still work. It does, but potentially I could also do... Actually that one doesn't work because you can't rotate the pieces. They must be in the same orientation they're shown for the time being, so they have to be on top of each other in the bound area rather than side by side. I think there is more than one solution to this part. So we've got a square and a horizontal line of 3 in the shape I've drawn. So that works, but I could have also done it with the line of 3 on the top as well. That's also a valid solution. Now this one might be a little more challenging. Reason being, if I bind off the two on their own, I can't possibly complete a square shape, so they've got to go together in some way, which I am slightly struggling to see at the moment. There we are, that's it. So yeah, the two shapes have combined there, less straightforwardly than they did before. And the first time I ever came to this area, I kind of got stuck here because you can't jump across or anything like that, so I really thought that I was missing something. But what we've actually got here is a motorised platform, and it is powered by a puzzle that works in the same way as the ones in the tutorial section. So there is one way of completing, well, there's several ways of completing this puzzle. The trick here is that the 3-piece cannot possibly be drawn round on its own. You can't, if you join it up, you can't come out. If you come out, the shape is incorrect. So that 3-piece has to join onto the vertical piece on either side, and it can go on either side. So what I've done is connect it to the right hand side, so now the bit I'm stood on is actually the central 3 dots, the horizontal line, and it's now moving across to join those 3 vertical dots over there, and it just left those 3 vertical dots over there. So yeah, the puzzle panel there is a depiction of how to operate the platform itself. So we've got a little bit more room to move now. The area is flooded, so we can't go down these stairs. And again, it sort of makes you think you're in this section too early. For that reason, can't get past this gate. It does have a power line running to the gate though. We can get up these stairs. And there's a gate that will serve as a shortcut to a different part of the island. And I think it's a relatively simple puzzle to solve. So I think in this instance you can just draw around the shapes independently. Actually no. Oh yes you can. And then the long 4-piece there, that should solve that puzzle. It does. This one I doubt is going to be as easy. It's not. So I can't, because the grid's smaller, I can't draw all the shapes independently. and that would kind of work, but I'd also need to do that kind of affair, and I can't then back out of that. So I think the secret here is to try putting the shapes in different places, which might not make very much sense as I'm saying it. And this isn't actually a valid solution, but if you can see the shape that I have drawn, my theory is that I've got the vertical 4-piece and the other two shapes shifted across to the right. So the shape I've drawn is valid, but unfortunately I've managed to put the 4-piece outside of the area that I've drawn, so it didn't count. So I have to get creative in a different way. Quite honestly, I am struggling to actually see what that shape it would be. Maybe I've gone at it too cleverly. Again, that's not right. That's in fact more or less what I did before, isn't it? So how about that? Does that work? So again, I've got the 4-piece down the left of the bound area, so quite well removed from where the dots are actually drawn, and the other shapes, the shape from the bottom left is at the top right of my shaded area or bound area, and the shape at the top left is down at the bottom right. So that one is valid, so that's opened the gate. Like I say, I think that is just a shortcut to different areas of the island. So I shall go back into the swamp area and try to continue with the puzzles in the area. Broken grid line, which doesn't help. Again, I'm going to be doing a similar sort of arrangement to before. So on the shape that I've drawn, the horizontal line is at the bottom, the two vertical lines are up in the top left. So long as they're bound by the line, that is fine. They don't have to be where they were actually drawn in the first place. Now, in theory, the same solution should work here, so we've got the same shapes, but I can't draw that particular shape because of the broken grid line, which is most annoying. So I'm wondering, would it work in a sort of upside down format? I think it does. Does it not? I thought I had that. No, it doesn't. Damn it. Okay. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, I may need audience hints from this one, from the one person that's still watching me at the moment. The horizontal 4-piece is going to have to go either across the bottom or across the top. Oh, I have an idea. Probably gone about it wrong there, but I think I've got it. So, yeah, the 4 pieces along the bottom, the 3 pieces I've put up and to the sides, and I think that works. It does. Good. And this could prove tricky as well. I need a vertical 4-piece somewhere. I also need it to be bound by the lines I'm drawing, which that would not be. don't think it's possible to do this with things separated out. I think they're all three going to have to go together here. So that would be the 4-piece, that would be the 2 pieces, that would be the 1 piece, which is great in terms of the shape, but I did not include the 4-piece within the line I drew. Is that it? I think that sort of works. It does, yeah, so 4-piece there, 2-piece there, and the 1-piece up there. It wasn't terribly easy. Okay, now those bottom pieces can go together like that. And that piece can go in like that, but unfortunately there's a piece over on the left that has not been included at all. So this one might take quite a bit of work. That shape is my attempt to encompass the L piece and the 2-piece from the top. They would go together under that space, but unfortunately it all needs to be joined together really, doesn't it? Right, so that's that shape. There's the 3-piece, there's the 2-piece, and there's the horizontal 3-piece. The shape is right, but it doesn't encompass the 2-piece, unfortunately. Maybe there is a way of separating these out. So if that's the horizontal 3-piece there, and then the vertical 3-piece put together. Hello, Sir Dragon Hunter, it's you, is it? You and your calculus, you can't get enough of it. I'm at a bit of the witness that I struggle with, but I think I've just about worked that one out. That looks valid. So yeah, let's just leave that solution up there a little bit. So I've got at the top there, the 2 shapes are bound sort of fairly straightforwardly the way they're shown. On the bottom I've had to effectively switch the positions shown to make the shape and keep it separate from the other bits. So that power line has presumably opened that gate, which it has. So what do we have? We've got some very odd shapes, but luckily that first shape just cannot be drawn on its own, and that one shape can only be drawn in the corner like that, but you put them together. That's really not challenging at all. And equally, these 2 shapes would be quite tricky to draw independently of each other, but put them together and you get a square, so that's nice and easy. And what do we have here? It's going to be slightly trickier for me to envisage this one, but I think the weird shape and the single dot would form that kind of shape, and if I just skirt across the top, that does the horizontal line as well. This one just looks rude, so there's actually a gap between those sets of dots. In fact, it looks like those are separated by 2 dots width altogether. So how many squares have we got altogether here? The top shape's got 5, 8, 12. So, I'm wondering, would that do the trick? Apparently not. I was taking a lucky guess by actually just binding 12 squares in place. Didn't work. That shape's quite restrictive. And that's definitely wrong. But that bit was correct. So what shape would that make? And can't see how that can... This whole thing's got to sit together some way, somehow. Don't think that can work either. Oh man, you can practically hear my brain cells churning over trying to do this one. That'd surely not work, would it? No. Yeah, some of these can be very, very difficult to visualize. What about that? No. There's only so many ways I can cut 4 squares out, surely. What about that? Nope. Definite guesswork going on my part, and this is not working out for me in the slightest. Turns out there are quite a few ways to leave out 4 shapes. Do you feel like I need to use the outside edges though because of this weird shape? So if that was down there, and the... No, that's not going to work because that's cutting out the top shape. Or maybe... No, surely not. Oh. No. Well, I got that one. Good. Why am I having so much trouble visualizing this one? About that. That felt like it was close to me. Although now I look at it again, probably not. Dag nabbit. This one is starting to do my head in, I must admit. Any suggestions, Sir Dragon Hunter? Right. I think I tried that before, didn't I? Just having real trouble visualizing those two separated dots. Thank God for that. Right, okay. So let's lit up another power cable. Trying to work out what it is now changed in the area. It will have done something. Just not necessarily 100% clear what. Or we literally just opened this gate. Right, okay. Okay, so puzzles are now taking a further step to confuse my poor little head, where instead of showing the symbols flat, they're shown on an angle. It doesn't actually make a difference for this first one. There is only, well, it sort of does. I mean, ordinarily that would be a horizontal line. It's been tilted slightly, but the shape I've drawn is a vertical line, so when you see them at an angle, the shapes can be rotated. They don't have to be in the orientation they're shown. So that one will be done like that. And these will also need to be rotated. Will very likely need to be rotated. What do they? That sort of fits the bill, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. So I didn't rotate them really very much there, just nestled them together. And I presume I'm not going to have the luxury of just drawing this one as it appears. No, because there's a broken grid line. So The shape would work there, but I can't back myself out of that space because of the broken grid lines again. It's going to have to go against the edge of the puzzle in some way, surely. So again, I'm blocked by the grid line. There is a slight nuisance to these, is that they can be rotated but they can't be reflected. So again, that shape would work, but it doesn't allow me to get out. That shape would work, but I can't get out. This is surprisingly annoying considering it's one very simple shape. Can't close that shape off like that, unfortunately. Sorry, I need to cough, bear with me a second. Right, why can I not get this one? This should be straightforward. But can't get out, as ever. Obviously can't be done that way. So close. Damn it. Oh, this game is so annoying at times. There. Bloody thing. That works, doesn't it? It does, right. Okay, so we've got a power line leading over there, so that's the obvious part to get to. This platform works in a similar way to the previous one. It's marked off with a black square, a blue square, little yellow platform, a purple square, and then a sunken red square, which is rather unhelpful. But we want to be getting over to the blue platform, so essentially I need to try and draw out a way that will connect the yellow platform to both the blue and black dots on this panel, which should be like that. Is it? That should have worked, shouldn't it? Why didn't that work? Really felt like that should have worked. Ah, I see. It would have probably worked, but I didn't box off the other squares on the puzzle as well. That was a bit of an error. So that's the shape I want, and then just need to box off the other two things as well. There, that's a bit better. So where does the power line go? Then you can approach this puzzle in the first instance from the boat. Just call the boat in case anyone's not seen the boat before. There it is. Unfortunately, if you arrive in this way in the first instance, you can't do anything. You are stuck, unfortunately, so you just got a few dead-end things. Got a nice little sort of visual puzzle there. Well, it's not actually a puzzle, but you can get the statue on the hill and the statue there to line up so they touch hands. If you stand in the right place to get the perspective, which clearly I'm not doing. It must be a lot closer to it to get it. Maybe not right there, but... Go on, touch hands. There you are. Pleasing. And this is another little one of the platform puzzles. I don't think I need to do it just yet, but that would be a way to slide across, or I think turn the various platforms here to try and make them line up into a bridge. But this is distracting somewhat from the puzzle panels that have now lit up, which could be awful. Let's hope they're not. So, can these be kept separate from one another? That first shape is taken care of, I think. What we got there, that's a 4-piece going across. Which, yeah, that works. Yes, it does. So, 4-piece has gone across horizontally there, and that little corner piece I've rotated and put in there. Right, okay. This one looks a bit more awkward because unfortunately that shape just can't be drawn on its own as it is, which is seemingly designed just to annoy me. So that would cover off the L shape if I cut down there, but I'm going to have to join it onto the other ones some way, somehow. This is another one that I'm finding tricky to visualize. Anything that sort of has gaps rather than a solid shape I find very hard. Would that do the trick? Not really, unfortunately. Okay, what about... Ew, no. Actually, maybe that does the trick. I think that does. It does, yeah. Okay. So I've got the L shape over there. Then I've got the actual legitimate Tetris piece in the sort of sitting on its back in the bottom corner with the weird stepping piece across there. Not an easy one. Not an easy one to visualise in my head, that's for sure. And this one we've got a mixture of flat and angled shapes, so the block of 6 needs to appear as a block of 6 in the orientation shown, so like that. But I also need to then encompass the L shape as well, since it's bound by the same area. So how would I go about doing that? That can be rotated though. So I could tack it on in an L shape. That's not going to work. Can't tack it on as an L shape on its back, annoyingly. Could achieve it like that. That would be a suitable shape, but I think that's quite likely to stop me from drawing the last shape now. Particularly with the broken grid lines in there as well. Or do they go together in some sort of freaky way that I can't quite see? Right, okay. Yeah, another one. Oh, Jonathan Blow, you're evil. You really are. Doubt that's going to work. It's just not. Right, it's 8, 6, so I need 14 squares bound off altogether, and 11 to be outside the shape I draw, or shapes I draw. That felt like a hide into nothing there. Okay, what was my plan here? Is that it? No, not quite. Maybe I've miscalculated that. So I'm trying to envisage an L shape in the bottom left corner and stack the 6 on top of it. But then that would have been whoops. What am I doing here? Trying to put that kind of shape on top of the whole caboodle, but unfortunately that's rotated, reflected rather than rotated the other shapes. So that's not going to work. And that just feels mental. Does that work? Yeah, those L pieces would sort of nestle together to form an 8 on the sides, wouldn't they? How about that? Yeah. Why did that take me so long to say? Oh, this is just rude. Far too many holes in these shapes for my liking. Total guess. Very unlikely to be right, I'm sure. Okay, if these weird shapes were stuck together, they would be a block of 6. After a fashion, at least. And if that L-shaped bit was rotated, that would sit there. And then the single one on its own. Oh, that's annoying. So the shape would work, but I can't draw my way out of it. Oh, I really thought I was onto something there. What a nuisance. Can I draw that shape in a different orientation, I wonder? Almost certainly not, is the answer. Is that it? That's not it, is it? That looks far simpler than what I drew first time. Okay, so if that's the L shape in the bottom corner, rotated around a bit, how does everything else fit together? One out there, and then it is a block of 6, isn't it? Does that do it? That felt close. Draw that. That one being the 1. Well, that. No, that doesn't work. Wow, I'm still sort of struggling to work out what I did there. Oh, down there. I don't know. Anyway, it worked, so looks like we've now drained an area off, so it's down into the murky depths. Just rude. Been a while since I've seen this type of puzzle, so we've got the vertical 3-piece, which apparently is incorrect there. I think the reason for that is that the blue square effectively is a negative, so you have to chop it out of the shape in question. So a 2 shape should do the job there. And yeah, taking one blue square out of the yellow square leaves that weird sort of corner shape to work with. But the blue bit also needs to be bound by the resultant shape, so this one, in theory, got a 4x4 grid, so 16 squares, which somehow has to encompass 4x4 squares, so 16, but less 2. So the whole thing would be something like that. Okay. And this one looks very confusing. I'm hoping it isn't. Right, okay. So you can't actually draw the yellow shape on its own. If you get to take out one of the yellow squares at the edge with the blue one, you can then draw the central bit as well, so that seems to work. So, what has that now done? I feel like it must have done something. I remember I did get confused by this area when I first visited it. So there was another section where there was flooded bits. It's still flooded now. What about over here? Aha, there we go. So that must have drained off this area. Right. Ah, okay. So that is sort of familiar looking from previously. That appears to be that platform there. So I guess we must be trying to move the platform back the other way, but now it can be, or maybe this is just a way of recalling the platform. Let's see if we can just solve this puzzle the other way round. So instead of having the three-piece joined on, sorry, the horizontal piece joined to the right, join it on the left. So that should send the platform away, which obviously isn't much use to me right now, but it might change the way in which the flooding is affected in the area. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. Maybe that is just to recall the platform if you've got into this area wrong. So we've got a puzzle panel that we can work with at any rate, so I'll try and do that. So I'd say the moves are quite restrictive altogether. So I want a shape that's... oh no, I think I had it. So drawn an odd sword shape, so we've got the vertical 4, fairly obvious, and then we can't do a horizontal 4, but there's the negative square, so I've only done a horizontal 3, so that should satisfy it. I've really felt like it should have satisfied it. Why is that not? Because they're overlapping, they can't overlap, god damn it. So I need a rethink on that then. How would that shape work? That's not it either, I don't think. I feel like this is dancing just out of reach somehow. What about that? There we go. So yeah, got 4-piece across the bottom horizontally, and then the vertical 4-piece has been truncated by the negative square to be a vertical 3-piece. Okay, yeah, so does that work? No, I don't think that does it? That definitely doesn't work, because... oh, actually, I think that might be closer than I think. If I chop off a square at the beginning, so those two negative squares effectively make the 4 pieces both 3 pieces, and they'd fit together like that, I think. Okay, we're up to an hour. This is definitely not speedrun territory, but it never is with me, so... What do we have? 4 across the bottom. I'm never going to be able to draw my way out of this, but I'm just trying to draw the actual shape. be the right shape. Have I got any way of drawing that without boxing myself in? Probably not. I can't rotate any of these. What about that? That sort of feels right. Yay. Right, what do we have here? This looks complicated. There's only 16 squares to begin with, and somehow I need to put 8 squares in there. Really? I did not plan out the shapes there at all. Just counted the number of squares. This one looks like nightmare fuel. I've got a chessboard. Christ alive. Right, so there's what? 8 in the chessboard, another 4, 12. Somehow need 10 squares covered off in some vague semblance of a pattern. Gee gods. So if I do follow the pattern, in fact, I can't even draw the pattern it's given me. That doesn't seem right. No, it clearly wasn't. Completely lost count. 8, 12, 10. I think that's going to do it. So... no, far too much hope there. Can't cut out that square because that's got the negative square in it. If it was to take out that square, and then that would already be a blank, but then that square, where would my Tetris piece go? No, it wouldn't work like that. No, can't do that. Cannot do that. Surely not. Right, okay. So if I cut out that bottom square that I'm struggling to sort of draw into the pattern, that's one of the blue squares taken care of. And sort of follow the pattern. How many squares are out there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would need to be in. Wow, didn't enjoy that. Okay. So we've lit up a blue power line. What does that do? Possibly need to be across the other side of that platform now, never mind. We'll soon find out. Blue power line. So oh, it's drained this room. Righty ho. Wait, what? I've already done this room. Okay, in which case I probably do need to follow a platform elsewhere. Don't know if it's across there I need to go. Might be. I've already done this room, I'm quite sure. Or have I? Clearly I haven't. I'm not at all sure. Right. How the hell would that work? Just draw around the outside? Yes. A couple more people have joined us now. Hello new people. Running through the witness beam by beam and endeavouring to try and do this from my own brain power, which is not working very well. It is not a concise video that's coming out of it. I am trying to avoid spoilers for anything beyond the puzzle panels themselves, but I will happily take suggestions for the puzzle panels because I'm not doing terribly well with them, I'll be honest. Right, how am I going to do that one? Oops. Firstly by connecting with the grid. Sort of struggling with the logic of that, but effectively, well, those shapes are all bound by the line, but they all cancel each other out anyway. Weird. So another strange one here. So there's 7 squares that need to be included, but 4 that need to come out. So actually, I only need 3 included altogether, but somehow bind them all by the same line. Huh? Right, okay. That bottom bit sort of works. I have to have 3 bound, but then 3 taken away, so that would be alright. Just see if it accepts that. It does accept that, so it's the top part of the puzzle that's not valid. So I like that, I'm keeping that in. And then somehow I need to box in 3 shape, kind of square shape, but with 1 bit missing, which is going to be a lot harder to do unless I try and combine it all together. Still think that's going to be hard to do. Maybe if I draw that first bit in a different way, how about that? In fact, right. Oh, this game makes my head hurt. No, that was just wrong, getting wronger by the minute. But I like that as a start point. I do like that as a start point. And apart from that little blue square in the top left, that should be a valid solution. What about... No. Whoops. Well, how about if I try binding the 3 shape on its own? That sort of works, doesn't it? That should work. So the 3 shape is complete and bound by the line on the outside of it, and then the 4 shape is completely negated by all the negative blue ones. Haha! Success. Right. And we've got some broken grid lines, like my life wasn't hard enough already. Right, let's have a quick number check here. So there are 7 yellow squares that need to be included, and is that also 7? Yes, 7 blue shapes to take away from it. So I think so long as I get everything bound by the line. Damn it, those broken lines are a real pain in the arse. How the hell's that going to go together? Doubt that's going to work, is it? Not in the slightest. A pity, because if it was just a question of if one of those broken grid lines, you'd just go around the outside, it would work and it'd be beautiful. Right. That square and the 2 should be valid. They are, the rest is completely not. So annoying. Tried that before, didn't I? And it did not like it one little bit. Yeah, that would work if I could only complete the line. Why does this game hate me so? Damn it. Yeah. Do feel free to chime in with suggestions, people. Do feel free. And if you're watching this video on YouTube at a later date looking for immediate solutions, you might need to put it on fast forward. Aha! Is this a brainwave? Get in! Oh, God. Right, so this appears to have now created a tunnel. Oh, right, yeah, I think we are actually getting near the laser. Finally, you will be glad to hear. So the laser is up there, it's just a question of getting up there, and we've got this weird 9x9 platform to try and do it from. Okay, so I was in the right place. Should be able to operate this grid from there, it's not terribly easy to see. It's really not easy to see. There's the exit there. So yeah, what I've actually done there, it's another one of these puzzle panels that has a physical effect in the real world. So the shape I've just drawn should now be the shape I'm now standing on. And I need to somehow continually solve the puzzle to allow me to get to the other side of this little platformy bit, or that corner. So does that not work? That looked like it worked. Oh, I see, because I had it outside the area. Right. So yeah, I've got those two down, but sadly that's not terribly helpful for getting me across it. And not quite enough to be able to walk through it either. This is of course another problematic aspect of it as well, as I still need to be able to physically cross it myself once I've entered the solutions. How is that not valid? Right, okay. So yeah, I think this could work. I just need to try and reverse the cutaway section that I just did. There we are. Ah. Oh, thank God for that. I was going to say, how the hell am I going to get out of this little trap I've made for myself? Guess it's now the top left two bits that need to be excluded. Damn it, that's not what I wanted to happen at all. Ah, rage. Why did they go up? I wanted them to come down. Or is the whole thing reversed? Yeah, basically the whole thing's reversed. Right. Unhelpful. Let's try again. And instead, it must be those two bits I want cut out. That's a bit more like it. Right, whew. I think that is all the hard work from this section done, because finally it's just one nice easy switch to operate the laser. God, that one was hard work. So yeah, there we go. Trophies just popped up for marsh area on that one. Oh, that was definitely hard work. The Tetris puzzles can take a bit of doing. They appear elsewhere on the island as well, so that's why I've gone to this area so that we can subsequently go to different parts of the island where there are Tetris puzzles and still be able to use them. And I watched someone doing a different area last night where they actually physically cut out a bit of paper to the right size of the shape to be able to help them visualize it on screen. So we'll just let the laser fire itself off. Should be done fairly shortly. I'll again be heading over towards the mountain. There we are. Can't really see it because of all the foliage in the way. But there we are. That, in a quite a long-winded fashion, was how to light up the laser in the swamp area. So thank you for joining me. A couple of people have joined in towards the end of the broadcast there. I am going to be bringing it to the end of the stream there and move it all over onto the YouTube series as well. So if you do wish to get yourself taken through the puzzles one by one, albeit very, very slowly, with me kind of going, I don't know how to do this the whole way through, then have a look on YouTube under the username Baldy Chris, or The Witness Beam by Beam, which is the name of the series. You'll be able to find it there. But yeah, take care of yourselves. Hopefully I'll see you either on Twitch or on YouTube in the very near future. Bye bye for now.